reason our slow roasted turkey tastes so fresh.
Looks like he's putting soap in there. Does he have a fake room set up? What the fuck was that?
It's important for Barbies to
Why?
about 4 in the morning, and I was out with a farmer, and I just remember the glimmer in his eye as I would take each piece of produce and eat it right out of the ground. And it was in that moment that I fell in love with food. My name is Liza Mosquito DeGia. That is my middle name. When people ask me what I do, I tell them I'm a food documentarian.
Jesus.
My title on my business card says Chief Storyteller. For Food Curated, my tagline is All Good Food Has a Story.
There's so
I
many
know
just
there's
words
something more
in here.
behind it than just that bite. There's history, there's family stories, there's struggle.
Well, you'll
My
never make tiny
curiosity
food,
goes
so
deep,
we're done with
and I've always found that people want.
She's not making tiny food. I don't want to hear it. What is this garbage? Sorry, folks. The train seems to have gone fully off the tracks here for a moment. Oh. You know what that sound means. What's up, caller?
Did she say that her name was Mosquito?
She did. Her name is apparently
Jesus Christ.
Mosquito. We can go try to find that commercial if you want. We can give it another listen.
Why was she eating rice out of the ground anyway? I don't think you can really do that. It's still hard.
What was her name? Mosquito Jones? I searched Mosquito Jones and I don't think that was it. Mosquito Jones,
I think it said it
Monsanto
was
food
open
documentarian. It was something about Monsanto food documentarian. Mosquito Jones.
Was it pro-Mon? This probably was in the pro-GMO propaganda pieces. Did John
I don't
just say this stuff in the chat? See, like here. Hey, John, you hear me?
I think he probably can. He's in there. He's in there talking. Got a three-way thing going on. And we got some guy just watching, so some guy watching.
I was
Welcome to the world.
I was looking at those tiny food videos a while ago.
They're pretty good, man.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to make, like,
You have to have be
You know, the-
Asian. You have to have the spirit of a mosquito. So
those wall trophies that people have with, like, animals they shoot. I was gonna make, like, hot dogs, like trophy hot dogs and shit.
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Food you've conquered. Pizza box just hot glued to the wall.
That's a $1 million idea right there, though. Just putting random shit on those trophies. You know, like they're cut out, they're wooden, they're cut out, they're shaped like an
And then you
emblem.
sell it on Etsy.
Exactly.
Zika virus star child at Etsy. Zika virus star child. Ebola Seinfeld. Ravioliforbones.com. No, but seriously, Zika's a freaky virus, folks. Let's watch something about Zika real quick. Let's strike a serious note here.
I feel like at this point, there's no way to be faced with the problem of Zika without realizing it's just bird flu again. It's just, I guess Ebola was like a real thing, but I mean, there's every year there's a new frickin' disease, and it just seems like something that the damn what's the word?
Hold up. Oh, never mind. I don't think there's we can just yell at each other still. I don't think there's any words.
I feel like it's all the vaccine. It's like a vaccine lobby pushing that shit.
Yeah. All I know is this seems like a real shitty disease and probably should be taken care of quickly.
The elite is kind of just they're just kind of running out of ways to scare the population into submission.
Or nature's like super fucking
Yeah, or nature.
done
Yeah.
with it, done with us.
Those things look stupid. If I had one of those babies, I would just throw it out the window, or I'd just say, "Hey, put it back
Good
inside."
job. Well, it is the Gloomtube, so. I'm not gonna subscribe to your freaky medical channel. But thank you for the info. So that didn't really tell me much, except the babies are born all dinged up. Better not be a licensed song, because I'm streaming here, YouTube. Don't be a dick.
The VLC effect there is a nice way to avoid the copyright shit.
I'm also not playing the audio.
People are freaking out about it, but don't worry. I'm going to give you the details of what the Zika virus is, how it's transmitted, and
What there needs to be, somebody might have already made it, but there needs to be a extension where you can alter the YouTube video in the browser. You can like flip it horizontally, you know. You can do all these effects so people can upload videos that are fucked up to avoid copyright, and then you can just fix them in the browser.
We're certain that mosquitoes do transmit the Zika virus, and if you are a non-pregnant human, then you're probably not going to suffer any serious health concerns. However, if you are a pregnant woman, then you do have something to worry about. Now, the Zika virus leads to a physical deformity among children. We do have a picture kind of showing you what it looks like. Basically, the brain doesn't develop normally, the head doesn't develop normally. And
John Sullivan in
oftentimes,
chat comments with the best joke. We went from tiny food to tiny heads.
Now, when it comes to the confirmed cases here in the United States, there have been 3 cases in Florida, 2 in Illinois, 1 in Texas, and 1 in Hawaii.
You need to take that.
There's nothing to freak out about at this moment.
Dang
because
it, Bobby!
is not
Picture of
easily
Hank with a worm
transmittable
body.
person. However,
Turn that into a GIF,
there's a big
and then have him
outbreak
slither
in
around the
a
screen.
particular area or country. For instance, there's a big outbreak
That
in
made it
Brazil.
work.
It is likely that in hot, humid weather, mosquitoes can multiply.
Man, this lady's telling me a
If there are
bunch of
lot
nonsense I
mosquitoes,
already
they
know.
can not only
Oh,
transmit the virus from one person
mosquitoes
to
can
another, but
reproduce.
it becomes more and more of an issue, right? Like, they'll
Jeez,
give it to
didn't
you.
know.
If you're pregnant, you're going to pass it on to your baby, and then it will suffer from birth defects as a result of that. I'll get into more details
Jesus
on
Christ.
transmission.
So really,
in a
I guess
second.
they're not
Now,
going
the
to tell
Zika
me.
virus is caused by the Aedes mosquito.
I've already
It's
been
determined
vaccinated. I
women
vaccinate
have the
myself
virus in
with
their babies,
a
causing birth
substantial
defects.
amount of
All the Zika
alcohol,
cases in the
so
US
mosquitoes
involve
don't go near
foreign
me,
travel.
and they literally
So
do
this is
not go
not
near
something
me.
that originated in the US. It's from
Yeah, I mean, you
people who
need
traveled to
colloidal
other
silver.
countries,
You need
got infected, and then came back.
what's
The
the other
traveled to Colombia and Venezuela, and
you know,
the 2 pregnant women in
you know.
I like to
Illinois
pour a little
visited
colloidal silver into my
Central America
Vaseline
and
before I
the Caribbean.
search
A Texas man was
vegan
also
on
diagnosed after he received
porn.
Choleric silver,
in November.
cholera
So
silver,
right now, those traveling to the
chloroform,
Caribbean or
Red Lobster,
South and Central
Olive
America
Garden.
are at risk. Okay.
a little bit of
If you're
colloidal
a pregnant
silver
woman,
in
this
my
is gonna be
Arby's
more about you
sauce.
than anything else. Okay. So to give you some more details on that, the CDC has named 14 countries and territories
That'd be a
in
good
Latin
restaurant. You
America
should have
and
a
the
conspiracy
Caribbean,
theory
Puerto
restaurant.
Rico, Mexico, and Haiti, and are advising pregnant women
UFO
to avoid
onion rings.
traveling there. An estimated 80% of people
Come on
don't
down to
even
Preppers.
develop any symptoms
Now
after
call it
being
Area
infected with the
51.
virus. For everyone
Everything
else,
is
symptoms are
canned,
usually mild,
uncooked and
rash,
canned.
headaches, pain in the
Heinz
joints,
51.
and fever. These symptoms typically show up between 3 and 12 days after the initial mosquito bite and go away within a week. Hospitalization is uncommon and death is extremely rare. I guess the spread of this virus is growing rapidly, and
So
there are
basically,
two
if the
things
kids don't
that are
die,
playing a role in
they're
that.
going to be like brain
Increased
damaged
travel
and
is one
fucked
of
up.
them.
So we're going to have
More
like
and
a
more
whole
people are
planet
traveling
of
to
like
these countries where they're getting infected. And another issue
not just
is
socially
climate change.
fucked up
So
children,
climate change,
but
of
like
course, is warming our planet.
truly,
And because of
physically,
increased warm
their brains are
temperature,
just not
because
going to
of
work.
temperatures, because of increased precipitation in some parts of the world, what typically happens is it creates an environment for these mosquitoes to thrive. more mosquitoes means more people getting infected
More
with the
chances
virus.
of infection, at least.
Exactly. So that's what's going on right now in the world.
Hooray!
That's how you just
so
really say
there
hooray.
aren't really ways to combat the virus, I guess, besides avoiding
Drake
them.
is secretly
No
the
treatments,
cake boss.
and no
Oh, boy.
vaccines
It's one of my
available.
private secrets I
So it
discovered.
seems like what they're working on right now is perhaps modifying mosquitoes.
Yes. So they
Okay,
are
Zika
trying
virus
to
I'm done with you.
genetically
I
modify
know, I
these
need to know.
mosquitoes so they'll be unable to pass along.
Somebody
this
needs
virus.
to make
So
a
it's British
NASCAR
biotech
video
firm, and they're trying to
and,
crack
like,
the virus by again genetically modifying the
set it
insect.
up
I don't know
like
how that
the
works, but it
the way
sounds
you train
great.
dogs or something, or what the way that you make a funny cartoon with dogs,
Similar study before.
and you tie a stick
Okay.
to their leash and put a fucking like hot dog in front of it. You got to do that with the NASCARs, but then put like a, I don't know, an innocent 15-year-old blonde virgin on the end of this.
I don't know about that. Oh, let's listen to some Jane Terry.
Put Jan Terry on the stick.
Putting Jane Terry on the screen. I'm putting her on the spot. We're free balling now, boys.
Free balling now.
Jesus.
You should have let that ad hang, dude. Single women looking to date. You just start making memes of her, but treat her like she's Angela Merkel. How's this mic sound? Sound pretty good?
Anime's fucking trash.
Yeah.
Fucking trash. Fuck
Right on.
you.
They put the microphone in the dumbest spot possible on this computer. It's like, it's underneath the control button. So it's literally like, if I was a gamer, it's literally like, when I put my hand on WASD, it just covers the mic.
It's stupid, but also, look at this. This is the results of the Zika virus. Why don't you say? Why don't you say?
What is he doing? Is he singing?
Oh, he's rapping.
You guys, anime's fucking trash.
Do you have the audio off, or is Skype fucking up my mixer?
Driving and I'm speeding and I'm vigorously masturbating, swerving and I'm screaming and I violently come.
Yeah, it's fucking up my mixer. Okay.
And I'm vigorously masturbating, come on the wheel and then I come on the dash and then I come on the floor and then I'm done. Then I'm done. Then I shit on the seats, splash open the tires, break all the glass, then forget where I am, take off the plates, bust out the
Oh my god, it looks like John.
jump on the roof and then I break into your house. And
John, what are you doing?
to your kitchen and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and I'm vigorously
It's just like John.
trying and I violently come. I come. Stirring and I'm frying and I'm vigorously masturbating. Come in the pot and then I come in the pan and then I come in a glass and then I'm done. Then I'm done. Then I smash all your plates, bend all your forks, turn on your stove. Then I light a small fire, go in your fridge, eat all your food, farm it back up, and then I go into your room while you are sleeping and turn on your lights and jumping and I'm shouting and I'm vigorously masturbating, kicking and I'm flailing and I violently come. I come. Punching and I'm kicking and I'm furiously masturbating. Come on your dog, knock your lamp on the ground. Then I steal all your cash and then I'm gone. Then I'm gone.
I don't know, John. You tell me.
What
How are people not watching this? I don't get it. I guess people don't really even know that like there's a live section.
Hey there, it's me again, your boy Marvel, and I'm back with round 2 of the Iron Mike Freestyle Battle. We have 2 new contestants, sophomore right here. and your boy
I'll be
Eli,
back in a
class
moment,
2005.
caller. We're
We
about
also
to have to
Bus,
close the Skype call.
Jonathan
We'll
Hodges,
bring it back.
J-Dub, Jeremy Walker, and Steve
All right.
Jackson, Action Jack. Over at the judges table. Y'all already know the rules, so we ain't gonna waste no time on that. But look, y'all will have 45 seconds. Please stop when I tell you, or else you will be disqualified. All right, let's get it going. We're gonna start things off with your boy right here, Envy. Let's go.
Yo, it's your boy Envy. Okay, yeah, yo, yo, the words got you talking cripple. My advice to Eli is to start rapping, stick to walking cripple. Young cat freestyle so high. I've been up on the blocks, never selling rocks, but I still got what I got. Squad up like Little Weezy. Get busy off the flow so you can say I'm off the hazy. Anybody want it, they can get it. Never rap with a stutter. I'm so nice that I could have been Marvelous, brother. Get me right on the platter, rounds fatter, hitting cats off. Average cat knocking them off, never with the gas. I run up on the strap. They like, right, yo, you need to stop talking junk, but I gotta run up on a cat with the pump. Yeah, man.
Up next, we have Eli from the class of 2005. Let's go.
So Eli, what you got?
Yeah, I got one question, man. Tell me who next. This nigga salt like a nigga who just getting the best. See, I'm the best, man. I did it.
Fuck, Eli. Gotta go. Oh, I that beat me over again.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'ma let you know who the best by the hour. It's like Rosie O'Donnell at a bisexual bridal shower. It ain't nothing to me, man. I keep it for real. Look at this dental, man, with dental the grill. See, I'm the best. I told you that. This dude like that, he ran in front of the cat. Now I messed up, but I'ma stay on top. They told me, man, but you know, I'm never gonna flop. Look at this dude, he need to stay in the shade. Ain't no wonder why he came out. He already in the gay parade.
Snap.
I told you, man, I got you. Roasted like ever. You don't know, but my rhymes, they straight up clever. So you step down off the pedestal. I'm the best, man. You need to go to the fucking dental. I said freaking.
All right. Alicia. All right, as you can see, that was great. It had to be better than last time, but I still got to go over to my judges to let y'all know who won. Over to you, the Godfather.
I'm crafting the perfect concert. god, if he doesn't come some boy theory. Chef's gonna kill the Chef boy theory. Believe it or not, I can't make it any better, but it looks like moving Legos. We're gonna go on a YouTube train. We're gonna search a word. How about we'll search hot dog. Upload dates this bad boy. The hot dog challenge.
And welcome back to the hot dog challenge with peppers on it. Right now, I'm going upstairs to my cousin, ask him if he want to play. If he say yes, then I have to do it.
Apparently has no views.
Okay?
We're the first people to see this kid's hot dog challenge.
Hey man, do you want to do a challenge?
I'm done with this.
With the juice?
No, I don't know.
With the juice? What?
Not like this.
Okay.
Let's rewind.
Still can do a challenge like that. Okay.
I don't know what the juice.
With the juice?
No, I don't know what the juice.
With the juice?
No, I don't know what the juice.
With the juice?
Now, does that sound like with the juice to you? See, this video has 4 views. Oh, God
It's going to be a video on how to cook cookies.
words like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me. You, with your words like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me. You.
Let's do some Zika baby upload date. What's up, feller?
Hey, did you see my comment? Skype auto fucks with your mixer. You just need to turn the...
Yeah, I already did. The problem is I can hear you watching it through your microphone.
Oh, well, I'll just turn it down. I'll just put headphones on, actually.
Solution found.
What in the world was that? Stop animation thing?
Dude, I don't know.
Had to run away from that one. I feel you. I just got fucking
No baby could be more loved.
6
that is every
coupons.
bit as obvious as
1
a
pack for
disability
$1 in the
that
mail.
will stunt
Boom.
Artur's entire life. Until the moment of his birth, his mother, Rosalina, was convinced she carried a healthy child. Now she copes, but at a cost.
É difícil para mim, para todas. A gente nunca quer aceitar isso.
This fucking virus, no joke though, looks fucking shitty for
O que a gente não
everybody.
gosta é do olhar do povo. Eu tenho certeza que o que eu sofro, toda mãe sofre.
Especially if it's spread to mosquitoes, it's gonna be fucking shitty for
We've
everybody.
known
It's gonna just be
about
like,
Zika,
you can't
would
really
you have
stop
done
that.
things differently? Do you have any regrets?
Se eu lamento ter engravidado, não. Não lamento.
But like, if it becomes an epidemic, how are you
The
gonna care
once
for
rare
all of these
condition
people?
has become shockingly commonplace. A shattering
Are the kids just
experience
retarded?
I have to take
parents
off this good
and
vibes
even
thing.
professionals.
It's no longer.
I've done this job for 46 years, says Dr.
Right,
Angela
you're full
Rocha,
blown.
head of the baby care unit. I thought I'd seen it all, but this is the worst. She shows me the child's brain scans. The dark areas are dead space.
So what you're saying is in these black areas, that's just hollow. There's nothing there.
The number of new cases being treated at this hospital have declined somewhat, but doctors
These little
believe
babies
that
are
is
giving
but
me kind of a
brief
bit of a cat
respite.
vibe.
The rainy season
Yeah, a
returns
little bit
soon,
something
bringing
going on
with
there.
it greater numbers of mosquitoes. So too, the Zika virus,
Mosquitoes.
its life
We should treat retarded babies the way we treat
The children need
abandoned
constant
pets.
care, constant
We should
stimulation,
just put them all in
physical and
the...
mental.
We already got the system
The
in
mothers
place, you
who
know?
bear this burden are among Brazil's poorest. Rosalina
I just think
lives
that there's
alone
gonna be a
and
lot
must
of
soon
medical
return to
shit
work.
that like they're gonna
Who
have to
will
be
care
taken
for my
care
son
of by
then, she
some, but if
asks.
it becomes an epidemic,
Yet to receive an answer. John Ray, News at 10, Recife, Brazil. Fate has delivered her a false start in life. Her name is Maria Rita, one of Brazil's slum babies, born with a disability that is devastating.
what are you laughing at?
Her mother, Catarina, just
The look-
17, has little idea how she can care for
Because
her
your
daughter.
your laughs come in at a
She seems in
completely
pain
separate
all the
time from what
Catarina
you're
tells
seeing
me.
and what I'm
She
broadcasting.
hardly stops crying.
For anyone listening out there, he's not
This
laughing
baby
at
was
these
one of the
deformed
first
babies.
of hundreds
Maybe
of
he is, I
cases
don't
of the
know.
once rare condition microcephaly to report at this one hospital. If there had been warnings, we might have done things differently, says Laura, but the pregnancy was trouble-free. This is the epicenter of an epidemic the World Health Organization today called explosive. The favelas of Recife in Brazil's northeast. Into these mean streets, the
The
army
looks
has
these
been
babies are
mobilized
giving are like
with orders to
when you're
eradicate
tripping
the
really, really
mosquito
hard
that
and you don't know what
thrives
the
in the
fuck's going
stagnant
on.
waters and amid the rubbish.
It is an accurate measure of this nation's panic that it has deployed its army against an insect. It is a one-sided fight. So far, it has been the insect that's winning.
Spend a morning here and you quickly appreciate their task is impossible. It means checking every discarded pot or bottle for larvae.
I mean, what do they expect though? They have open sewers, you know? They can't get their shit together. Of course they're gonna have babies, you know, skulls that are just tripping really hard on being
Doesn't matter
retarded.
what we do, he tells me, if these people don't help, it's hopeless.
But
at Recife's university,
problem
British-based
is
academic Laura Rodriguez is working on a vaccine
Just
they
thinking
fear
of
is
global
5 years distant. The world, she says, is right to be alarmed.
We certainly have to be worried. It's new, it's spreading very fast. The consequences are very severe. Babies are a vulnerable population. We worry what happens about them.
Recife's babies face a lifetime of therapy ahead. For Zika and its consequences, there is no cure.
we need a new topic here. There's a whole lot we're gonna get out of the Zika virus. Hey, you little reptiles listening. Yeah, topics to watch here. Okay. We're gonna watch
Everything is gloomy. They canceled our sports games.
Oh shit, I need to get that song.
But in the water of the
is
21st
it a he or a
century,
she?
the lives we must change. See the people, the patriotism is contagious. It's a she. It's a he. It's a she. He. She. It's like you gotta do it in like northwest west parameters. It's a he she.
A hickish. Little Jade's video doesn't have load here.
This video just feels like a metaphor for all of Western civilization. Just massive technology proving its ability to put itself in the trash.
The song you are about to hear was written in memory of all the lives lost on this tragic day, September 11, 2001.
Wow.
As you listen, you will most likely remember the news footage that you witnessed over and over again. On September 11th, the year 2001, I turned on my TV to see America 911.
I'll give you Facebook.
Had taken out 4 planes and did something so insane. Now we all are filled with pain. Everything is gloomy. We canceled our sports games. We look at skyline and it doesn't look the same. Looking at the smoky trade center.
Yikes. Bobbed out my bandwidth there. I was running way too many things.
The song you are about to hear was written in memory of all the lives lost on this tragic day, September 11, 2001. As you listen, you will most likely remember the news footage that you witnessed over and over again. On September 11th, the year 2001, I turned on my TV to see America 911. Seems some hijackers had taken out 4 planes and did something so insane. Now we all are filled with pain. Everything is gloomy. We canceled our sports games. We look at the city skyline and it doesn't look the same. Looking at the smoky trade center, there's a big empty space, like the grief upon our face, for the lives we can't replace.
Somebody planned this attack and barbarians carry it out.
All our people watched in panic. You could hear them scream and shout. Oh my God, they hit the Trade Center. The two towers both fell down. Another plane hit the Pentagon, while the other hijacked plane went wrong.
America is under attack, that much we comprehend. And in the war of the 21st century, together we must stand. Now we hear the president designate a day of prayer. And how our people really care. They're donating blood from everywhere. Oh, tell me,
why did somebody do this? What's it all about? All our people watched in panic. You could hear them scream and shout. Oh my God, they hit the Trade Center. The Twin Towers both fell down. Another plane hit the Pentagon, while the other hijacked plane went wrong. Somebody declared war on beautiful America. In this time of history, we need to pull together. Oh my God, they hit the Trade Center. The Twin Towers both fell down. Another plane hit the Pentagon, while the other hijacked plane went wrong.
This song wasn't intended to cause painful memories, but to remind the people of America that we must stand together.
So out of hand. More victims are coming forward and describing their harrowing experiences.
Aber dann wurden wir umzingelt von einer Truppe von ca. 20, 30.
Suddenly we were surrounded by a group of between 20 and 30 men. They were full of anger, and we had to make sure that no one of us was pulled away by them. They were grabbing us, and we were trying to get away as quickly as possible.
Police and witnesses continue to speak of a group of up to 1,000.
Is it gonna fuck it up if I'm on Skype?
Groping and often robbing women at Cologne's main railway station on New Year's Eve. More than 100 criminal complaints have already been filed. Germany's interior minister criticized the police's slow response to the violence and said authorities must do better in the future.
We still do not have a clear picture as to who may be behind the crimes. All we have are some clues. The actions of the perpetrators are not acceptable.
With Germany now announcing the country took in about 1.1 million asylum seekers in 2015, the New Year's Eve incidents are causing many to criticize Angela Merkel's open arms policy. But authorities say there are no indications refugees were involved. Meanwhile, Cologne's mayor is under fire for suggesting women need to be more careful.
Women would also be smart not to go and embrace everyone that you meet and who seems to be nice. Such advances could be misunderstood, and that is something every woman and every girl should protect herself from.
As the search for the perpetrators continues, questions still remain as to how this night of celebration turned sour so quickly. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, London.
Oh, jeez, oh, jeez.
I feel like any American can move to any of these European countries and just become like fucking Chuck Norris.
Maybe.
Without even
They've got,
trying.
like ridiculous, like nationalist gangs and shit.
But just the absolute drought of testosterone that's going on in these European countries, it's like... That's some serious schizophrenic drop shadow going on there. In that text box.
Oh yeah, I found it on, you know, the good old Google.
I just gave you the Facebook boost. Bob Shea sent me a Elliott Smith album.
Elliott Smith album.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it the fuck back.
All you listeners out there, open a new tab, search Blazed Up and Weeded, and listen to that beautiful, sultry voice.
I can just play it here.
Do it up. This song, dude. Man, what is this song? This song is great. Oh.
Blazed up and weeded, headed for a fight. Looking for trouble, gonna get it tonight. The hell of
Should I send the link to BB89?
Reading, ready for a fight. Been asking for trouble, gonna get it tonight. And the hell bullets gonna take them down, and everybody will know who owns this town. You make us an enemy, you're gonna pay the price. Crossing the line ain't gonna be nice. Tonight's the night, gonna set things right. Tonight's the night. Battle raps blasting. Blazed up and weeded. Battle raps blasting. Blazed up and weeded. Tonight's the night, gonna take them down. Then everybody'll know who owns this town. Tonight's the night.
Preston.
No more talking, time to let the bullets speak. You disrespect us, put you down 6 feet. No more messing around, time to let the bullets fly. Disrespect me, someone's gonna die. In a hail of bullets, gonna set things right. 10,000 ultra mods going down tonight. When the hammer strikes, bullets gonna yell. Hear your name go on, calling straight to hell. Battle raps blasting. Blazed up and weeded. Battle raps blasting. Blazed up and weeded. Tonight's the night, gonna take them down. And everybody will know who owns this town. Tonight's the night. Didn't mean to kill no kid. Splatter the enemy, that's all I did. Where the bullets land, they ain't my fault. When someone disses me, I'm going to assault. I'm 30 to life, where's my rights? Throw away the keys, turn out the lights. He wasn't nobody, just a kid. 30 to life for what I did. Battle raps blasting. Blazed up and weeded. Battle raps blasting. Hold on, Blood on the Moon. It's about the wolf man. Give me, Father, for I have sinned. I've lost control to the beast within. Forgive me, Father, as the time draws near, when all
What's up,
before me will quake with fear. In the Garden of Eden, there's a feast of madness. In the hearts of men, there's a thirst for blood. 'Cause a natural-born killer's got control of me. A natural-born killer struggling to get free. A killer in the dark, lurking in the shadows, twisting in the sickness, swimming in the mind. When the moon is full, my legs are like pistons. I hunt by night, I cover great distance till there's blood on my fingers, blood on my face, blood on my lips that I can taste.
Yeah.
Flesh and bone, now it's all the same. When the moon is full, I track my game. I follow the scent, I know not where, till the heart beats fast. I smell the fear, hunting for my supper, getting raw deals, running for my life, scrounging for my meals. Silver bullet, it's my only way out. Father, you know what I'm talking about. Till there's blood on my fingers, blood on my face, blood on my lips that I can taste.
Yup, in my white tee.
Till there's blood on my fingers, blood on my face, blood on my lips that I can taste. That's the Wolf Man.
Oh, get it, boy. I wonder if anybody has uploaded a Ariel Pink, aka Ariel Rosenberg, Illuminati video. Is that okay?
Whenever there's good sound spinning around, whenever there is a wink, wink, all you want to do is sniff, sniff, sniff. What are you gonna do but? Whenever there is a pleasant smell, and even if it isn't wank wank, maybe it's a nice detail yacht. What are you gonna do but just sniffing around, just sniffing around. Whenever there's good sound spinning around, whenever there is a wank wank, all you want to do is sniff, sniff, sniff. What are you gonna do but? Whenever there is a pleasant smell, and even if it isn't wank wank, maybe it's a nice detail yacht. What are you gonna do but just sniffing around, just sniffing around. Sniffing around, just sniffing around, just sniffing around, just sniffing around.
Let's think of something else good we're gonna watch here. That's a quick Sam Hyde video.
You don't think a 7-year-old can be as sexy as a 20-year-old?
No.
You make me sick. Welcome to 2015. Fuck you. This podcast has been brought to you by Twizzlers, the Hershey Company. Twizzlers, if you have an opinion, fuck you, dude. You know what? I'm sick and tired of hearing this insensitive crap, okay? If you want... and I'm a CEO. And when I smoke cigars and count my slaves, and I count all the money that I've made exploiting the poor, and I decided I'm not going to hire Caitlyn Jenner, because I don't hire transsexuals. You know what? You don't think Caitlyn Jenner's beautiful? Fuck you. Fuck you. I identify as Twizzler. You should see red ropes when you see me. If I was ever to give you the pleasure of my sexuality, you would not be allowed to enjoy my masculine body. Beg for it. I want you to think about me as red rope licorice, okay? And the thing about that is I can touch anywhere I want. I can go into either bathroom now, okay? Because I'm red ropes. I can go in any bathroom I want, boy or girl. Doesn't matter. You can get mad at Twizzlers? Yeah. What, are you gonna get mad at some Twizzlers for going in the wrong bathroom? Fuck you, bigot. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude. Yeah, seriously? Fuck you, dude. Psh, yeah, right. You don't know about equality. Dude, see? That's me. You have to close your eyes really hard and believe that I'm ropes. The main issue is that Caitlyn Jenner, as a millionaire celebrity, faces trials and troubles and tribbles that you and I couldn't imagine because she is a trans woman, which is the ugly truth that nobody wants to talk about. You know what? You don't think Caitlyn Jenner is beautiful? Fuck, I hope he fucking dies. I don't care. He had long hair in the 60s, so now he's a woman. Because I'm evil. My ideas are evil. Be my little slave. You should just shout me down and send me threats and send me, like, weird messages and, like, tell me that I'm gonna burn in hell and stuff like that. That's the best way to get your point across. It's 2015. It's time to do what I say, because I'm saying it's 2015. So you should just believe whatever I say. So fuck you, dude, if you don't agree with me. If you do agree with me, then still fuck you, because you didn't agree with me earlier. So fuck you, dude. I'm red ropes. Who is that?
What are you guys filming a video for anyways out here? It's 2 a.m.
Caitlyn Jenner. It's in honor of her struggle.
What do you guys got in the bag? What'd you guys go and buy?
We got some home sex change gear.
Jesus Christ.
Charles, what do you think about Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner, he's worth like $50 million. And look, he's 65, dude. You know what sex is like at 65? Just ask my fucking old man.
You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day? You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life? You know what it's like, you sons of bitches? I'm tired of your crap! You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you. And the Republic is going to defeat you in the end. Some of us won't make it personally through this, but a lot of us are. And in the end, you are going to be brought to justice for all the kids you kidnapped for CPS, all you CPS workers, all you corrupt bureaucrats, all of you that have had your way with innocent children over and over again, who think your evil's invincible. You're not invincible, and God is going to deal with you. And you are cursed to hell. I'm done. I got to get out of here. I'm pissed off now. Robert Wannick, you can make some closing comments. I'll give you the last 2 minutes. We're going to end transmission. Make sure the guy's got your address so I can send you those videos so you can resist tyranny. I salute you. You know, a woman's on a bicycle, so you run up and hit her in the head, and she cries and she falls down, and then you come over and club her a couple more times. And then they say, hey, that's the good guys. Get ready for this. America is a racist cesspit. Everyone is guilty, including you and your family. The TSA convicted pedophiles must now take you to a private rape room to make sure Al-Qaeda is not in your grandma's colostomy bag. Get up against that wall, line up, show me your papers. You scum, and you better well learn to love it. You scum Americans. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Scum! Doesn't matter, scum. Shut up, scum America! Do you understand, scumbag filth? Don't you understand? Come on, punk, do something. You un-American piece of trash? Those were enemies of America. You come on right now, you scum! I guess I'll shut up. That's right, you will shut up. And you just look like an absolute clown freak that works for murdering terrorists that jack our food and water. I think you're a big joke. That's what I think you are, murdering scum. All of you. You're all aid and abet murdering scum in your murdering face. Killers. I gotta settle down. It's just the criminal, premeditated evil of these people. Shut up. Scared me so bad. You scared. We're gonna find the gay porn. Just crazed getting off on it. Because we're keeping you safe from Al-Qaeda. You know I know your mind. You know I know your deepest secrets.
I agree with
you
all
know.
the criticism.
I've had enough of it.
Intelligent people give him. You know, he's crazy. But you can't deny.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball, the Lady Gaga, the Justin Bieber, who gives you these carbon tax messages. They tell your kids they got to love Justin Bieber, and then Bieber says, hand in your guns, pass the Cybersecurity Act, and the police state's good, and then your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal, and when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200 and something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty, its incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind talking about Justin Bieber. It's pure evil. They're taking your intellect and your soul and giving you Michael Jordan and Bieber. Unlock your human potential. Defeat the globalists who want to shatter your mind, your doorways to perception. I want to see you truly live. I want to see you truly be who you are. I don't want my progeny who's coming, my unborn grandchildren and great-grandchildren, to live in this nightmare system these control freaks have created, where these wicked globalists are so threatened by human potential, they poison the water, the vaccines, the food, to turn us into a bunch of slugs, a bunch of lobotomized sloths so they can control us. It is a crime. It is the most jealous, envious, greedy, hateful, sickening thing the New World Order does, and that's why I am so pleased to be committed in the fight against them. That's why I don't care about my own life, except I want to continue to live to fight them. That's why I don't have fear. I only have fear of myself and my flesh and not being up to the challenge. And I ask you to look in the mirror and ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds? Once you unlock a mind, once you unlock somebody, then they can unlock their soul. We can't unlock a soul. Only God can do that. But we can unlock minds. And once the mind is unlocked, once the intellect is turned on, then comes the discernment. Then comes the awakening of the soul. Then comes true enlightenment and empowerment. So the globalists seek to make you a bunch of jealous, stunted, weak, backstabbing, gibbering demons. All of us have the lower elements and the higher. We must strive for the higher. Stay with us!
Well, that was something. How's everyone doing? Anything anyone's been itching to see? Anything you want to know more about and want to with a bunch of annoying things going on around it, because we can do that.
Welcome our viewers to Info News Now. We're live with Ken Burnow and Till and Date with the most useless news you'll ever hear in your life.
Some pretty ballin' tunes here. Free ballin' music.
Tiny Food Guy is not fucking around.
No man, he's really going for it. You know, he's passionate about it.
I wonder if he makes tiny porn.
Good God.
Why does he have a tiny? Like, why? Why is this happening? Why does he have a tiny stove?
No idea.
This really speaks to Japan's overpopulation crisis. I just sent the link to this stream to fucking William Hung.
Good idea.
He's on Facebook right now. Here. You should. What's up, John and Kathleen?
And there's your beautiful...
John and Kathleen. Don't know who you guys are, but apparently, what's up?
John's the guy I lived with at Hum House.
Hello.
I just love that capitalistic industrial scene, bro. You know Dasani, I'm pretty sure they do put fluoride in their bottled water.
We've got another color here. Max Macro. What's up, Max?
Hey! Holy shit! Hey, what up, Max? You're in the Triforce.
Haha, yeah!
Dasani does not put fluoride in water. But actually, many bottled water companies do put fluoride in the water.
No, they put porade.
Dude, we should have totally gone to that fucking Flint thing, you know? Like, you know how you were like texting me, you're like, yeah, let's bring the fucking styrofoam crystal or whatever, tell them it's flat for their water. Oh shit. Fucking Jolt is back, you know? Fuck that. Fuck that.
Let's watch a Joff video. That's what we're doing.
Put some Twee Pop on. Put some Architecture and Belinsky on the background.
Architecture and Monica Lewinsky.
I mean, that's like the one that's like entered in the synchronicity pool now, so. Joff, ESPN. Can't believe it, we fucking ran him out of town like 2 years ago.
Wait, is this... Did he make this?
What?
A video called Original Hipster, a documentary?
What?
What?
We're gonna be quiet for this. We're gonna listen to this.
Oh, shit.
Brace yourselves, folks.
That is just too much. Jesus Christ. Oh, no.
Hold the commentary. Let's just...
What the fuck? What is going on here? Why is it going on here? Oh, goodness.
Air shop, you know where you guys are going or something? No, but they're closed.
They're just throwing random words in there.
So, sometimes fire
Wait, did you like flash like snare or something?
And their beauty, it's without a doubt.
Jesus fucking Christ.
In a newfound fashion, their demeanor speaks of passion. Yet to the ground, those leaves, they will fall.
Oh my God.
Regret having had left at all.
Jesus Christ, no.
For it was the tree that brought them.
I thought we ran this guy out. Why is he back?
Through summer's strife and self-sustaining, those leaves are not and now.
Oh my goodness.
They rot.
Oh my God, how much more? There's like so many. There's so much more.
Shut up, Lucy!
The tree, she sits alone day by day, but Mother Nature has her moods, kinda, sorta like the moon, and soon winter's death goes away, to be replaced by spring's sun-filled days. Then
His last video uploaded was 2013.
the tree, she comes back to life, holding and pulling the earth, bestowing the oh so sweet, wonderful gift of growing, and then somewhere high upon a branch something occurs.
Okay, so he's been out of town for
What the fuck?
When did he get back?
A certain
Because
magic
I know that
begins
shit
to
was
dance, and a twig bears a bud.
Because
It looks like he snuck in.
All of that noise was from his video.
this cannot go on unopposed.
All of that awful noise was his video.
No, we gotta run this cunt out again, you know?
No, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not.
He's fucking asking for
I'm
it.
not participating.
No,
But
we are going to run him out. We are going to burn down his house. We're going to burn his soul into the fucking trash. You know, fuck this guy. Throw him in the fucking trash. He's fucking boring. That's his biggest crime.
not about it.
Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. No, it can't.
Sorry, folks, I can't do it. Can't do the whole video. Can't make it.
The next fucking person, the next time that he... We don't need to, though. We already proved that we can run him out just by fucking text-based destruction.
Yeah. No, just set up like a little fucking meme pool. Get everyone else all mad at him. Just
So,
load it on there. Oh, that was fucking beautiful.
Here's the deal, though. We didn't fuck with him at the.
No, but there's no. Hold up. Where's the video of him eating paint?
I've been looking for that one. I think it's been taken down or whatever. Yeah.
He took it down?
Yeah, he starts out like smoking crack, right? Then he's like eating paint and like puking it all over the canvas or whatever.
Yeah.
Like fucking go-go boots. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
Here's the thing. We didn't fuck with him at the Flint thing, and what that's gonna do is just make him think that he's safe. And he'll probably do some stupid art.
Hold on, found it. Oh my god, here.
We're gonna fucking crush him the next
I'm not gonna crush him. You guys can do that on your own time.
Lansing is my hooker. Lansing is my hooker.
Let's not have this discussion on stream anymore.
Why?
I'd just rather not.
What's he gonna do? Call the cops? Call the cops. That'll get him caught.
Sometimes I don't know where we're going.
Look at this awful piece of shit.
Sometimes I feel you should be crawling back to me. Time is ticking by without us knowing. Before you know it, it will be too late to see. You keep on talking, but it makes no sense at all. You try to fake it, but you're breaking every rule. Right from the start, you've always made me feel a fool. Don't get your heart between us after all. You keep on talking.
Wait, did you have friend on?
You can comment on his shit, on his Facebook. You can comment on it. He's got his public.
I think I'll like test if I do that. You're gonna get some
Goddamn. Awful. Here he goes. He's gonna puke on some canvases. Oh my god.
Okay, who the fuck is saying, hey, Macro? I don't know who this Charlie Manson dude is. Hey, who the fuck are you, person? That is a fucking cop. You're a fucking cop. Stop stealing my secret! God!
Oh my god! Kill it!
Who are you?
Drink the paint, bro. Jeez. All you viewers out there, I want to make it completely clear that the Lansing art scene is a scene that you must avoid at all costs. If somebody put a gun to your head and said, "Watch this video," take the bullet, please.
You keep on talking, but it makes no sense at all. You try to fake it, but you're breaking every rule. Right from the start, you've always made me feel a fool. Don't get your heart will come between us after all. You keep on talking, but it makes no sense at all. You keep on talking,
Good God.
Fuck.
Sensible. For any time you feel like you're going to turn into this kid, take a Sensible. It'll numb you and put you to sleep forever. Take a Sensible.
How'd you do that? Why?
Oh yeah, that's good for your floor. That's good for your floor. Just pour a bunch of pukey paint onto your floor. Doesn't matter.
Dude, unmute us. What are you doing?
You're not muted, bro.
Why isn't my vocal coming? Oh, sorry.
You're like 50 minutes delayed, bro.
My bad.
Good God. Oh my God, there's 17 minutes of this? I don't think I've ever made it. I didn't know that. Oh my God,
Christ,
really?
Why?
Oh no.
I'm gonna need to go to Facebook.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ. What a fucking pretentious piece of shit. Jesus Christ. See, this is like why fucking Lansing sucks. Just Joff ESPN. He's just like a microcosm of everything that just sucks about Lansing.
Indeed he is. He really is a stone cold turd.
How long is this fucking video? I'm
not playing the whole thing. I keep getting just lost in how, like,
I know.
I don't know. It makes my blood boil with rage, so.
Jesus Christ. Wait, why is that video still going? Fucking Jesus. How long is this shit? Oh, thank
I
God.
ended it.
Wait, is that like a fucking Hello Kitty thing he's wearing?
I don't know.
I can't see, my vision sucks, but I think it is. That is totally Hello Kitty. Why? What a fucking piece of shit. Jesus.
There's an old poster out west, as I recall, that said wanted.
Hi, Beth. I can hear you yelling in the background. Hi.
Hold on, everybody.
and the sheep can't know that they sleep. My evil, the man before you is not the man, it's a dog. I've extinguished the flame without his. So I ask,
Is that all there is to a fire? No.
Ever since man has looked up into the stars, he has seen strange objects in the skies. But the search for proof of extraterrestrial intelligence has produced disappointing results. The best so-called evidence has only been a few photographs and film clips. But now, all that's about to change. Since 1985, more than 15 million Americans have reportedly witnessed unidentified flying objects. But despite the seemingly overwhelming evidence, mainstream science has chosen to ignore the subject. But now, for the first time in history, one of the greatest mysteries of this century is unraveling. A former government scientist has come forward to discuss the military's classified work on extraterrestrial spacecraft. Human advances in technology have exploded in a million directions and show no signs of slowing down. The ever-increasing pace of achievement in the last several decades is unparalleled in human history. The high cost of developing and producing these technologies has limited the number of contenders from the private sector, leaving the government and large corporate businesses on the cutting edge of new discoveries. Always in the public eye, big business competes for high-paying contracts, working night and day to invent or further develop the next big thing to satisfy the masses. The government, on the other hand, must conceal information concerning national security that, for obvious reasons, should not be public knowledge. But when it comes to matters concerning the welfare of our planet, the living beings on it, or potential clues to the mysteries of the universe, many believe it should be our right to know. The end of World War II and the invention of the atomic bomb signaled a new era of international mistrust. Since the earliest days of the Cold War, which coincides with the Roswell incident and the start of the modern UFO era, the military has been especially secretive about its advances and achievements, while always searching for the perfect weapon or super sophisticated tool of espionage. High-tech surveillance equipment around the world, and even in space, has allowed global intelligence to see and be aware of many things that the common civilian cannot even begin to imagine. The military recruits many talented civilians when special expertise is required. And propulsion systems expert Bob Lazar claims he was one of them. In this exclusive interview, he gives his detailed account of his employment with the Department of Naval Intelligence at the top-secret facility known as S4, where, according to Bob, he was hired to work on recovered alien spacecraft. S4 is located 125 miles north of Las Vegas and 15 miles south of Groom Lake. This now not-so-secret military base at Groom Lake, Nevada, is known as Area 51, or Dreamland, as insiders like to call it. Born in 1959 in Coral Gables, Florida, Bob has lived much of his life in Las Vegas, Nevada. With degrees in physics and electronics from MIT and Caltech, he has dabbled in everything from chemistry to fireworks in an effort to understand the finer points of propulsion. He has even assembled a jet car with a 22,000 horsepower engine salvaged from a Navy F-3D Skynight that is capable of land speeds of over 350 miles per hour. Fate took a serious turn for Bob in 1982. Arriving early for a lecture at Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico given by Dr. Edward Teller, one of the inventors of the atomic bomb, Bob was able to meet and talk to the famous physicist. Coincidentally, Dr. Teller was reading the local paper, The Monitor, with a featured front-page article on Bob, and the two struck up a conversation. Later, Bob sent Dr. Teller his resume for consideration, and soon after, Bob was hired by the Los Alamos National Laboratory. This Los Alamos-based directory lists Bob as an employee. By 1989, Bob was brought into the top-secret program at S4, known as Project Galileo. In the following interview, Bob reveals many details of this amazing experience. Did you witness any disk technology at Area 51?
No, there was absolutely no ET craft, ET technology, anything like that at Area 51. This is why S4 was made specifically to separate it there. People at Area 51 do not have the clearance.
How long were you employed at S4, and when were you hired?
When was I hired at S4? I guess early '89, and I was probably there only about 6 months or so, on a very infrequent basis.
How were you transported to and from work?
At the time that I was working there at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas, there was a Special Projects EG&G building. When I was told to go to work, I drove there, parked my car there, and got in a plane at the airport, flew to Groom Lake, where I deplaned and waited for a bus, and the bus drove me down to S4. The S4 facility is an area just off the Papoose lake bed, dry lake bed, and it consists of 9 hangars. The hangars have sloped doors on them with a sand texture coating. Around the opposite end of the hangars, there's the standard entrance where you're dropped off at, go through a security check, and inside there's a small complex. There's some office space, there's several laboratories, the hangars themselves, of course, and a few other places. I didn't have free reign to go wherever I wanted to. Everywhere I went to, I was essentially escorted, so that was really all about that I saw.
Inside the facility, what was the basic layout? Were there underground levels?
I don't think there were any underground levels to it, though there could have been. I don't think it was an extensive underground facility. It just looked like an installation that was butt up against a mountain. And I didn't see any evidence of any stairs going down, elevators, or but like I said, I don't know. There could have been, and I just might not have been permitted in those areas. It's difficult to really surmise how long it had been operational. Everything did look fairly new. By that I mean I don't think this installation was there in the early 70s. Nothing was worn. Things look fairly freshly painted. So, as a ballpark guess, I would say it would really surprise me if the installation was older than 5, 7, 10 years, something like that.
A scientist killed in the project. What exactly happened there?
Allegedly, obviously, I didn't see this, and I don't know it to be fact, but this is what I was told, that I was hired to replace one of a couple people that were killed while working on one of the reactors from one of the crafts. Apparently, they, for whatever reason, cut open an operating reactor, and the device exploded, killing both of them. The scientists that were killed there, allegedly the detonation from the explosion was fairly large. It would have rivaled a small tactical nuke. So it was done at the Nevada test site, and it was to be passed off as an unannounced nuclear test.
Did you have any direct contact or communication with aliens?
No, not at all.
Tell us about the briefing files. Under what conditions did you gain access to them?
I was put into the briefing room with 121 or 22 briefings, and really was just told to sit and read through them. I think they were there just to mainly educate me on what was going on. They weren't a complete in-depth explanation on everything else, but just essentially a brief synopsis on some of the other projects that were going on there. Supposedly, the information, now this isn't something that I determined, it's something I was told, that the crafts originated from a planet that orbited the Zeta Reticuli star system. Zeta Reticuli 1 and Zeta Reticuli 2 are two stars of a binary star system. The craft allegedly came from there. One or two autopsy photographs I saw dealt with just a small photograph, a bust shot essentially, just head, shoulders, and chest of an alien where the chest was cut open in T fashion and one single organ was removed. The organ itself in the other picture was cut and vivisectioned essentially. Showing the different chambers in there. This was totally unrelated to anything I was doing, but from that photograph it looked like what you see in UFO lore as the typical gray. So how tall it was from what I could see, I couldn't tell because I only saw a portion of the photograph, but if everything else you see is correct, I would imagine it was 3.5 or 4 feet tall. But there again, you know, all I had to see was a photograph, and you know, I didn't have much to go on.
What was the incident in 1979 that brought the alien exchange program of information to a halt?
Again, this is a story that was relayed to me, and allegedly what happened in '79, there was some sort of information exchange going on where there were actual live aliens at the facility, and at one particular point there was an area where some security personnel went to enter. And apparently, because of not the sidearms, but the bullets in the sidearms, from what I understand, if they would have entered the area, the bullets would have detonated. And supposedly one of the creatures tried to stop the security personnel from entering the area, and a fight ensued. And the bottom line from the altercation was that the security personnel, I don't remember how many were involved, but were all killed, and they died of head wounds, and that's all that I heard of that story.
What was your job description at S4?
My official job description was a senior staff physicist. I don't know if I actually had that position when I was there, because I was there so infrequently. I wasn't supervising anyone, so that was the official position I was hired under. But whether or not I actually acted in that capacity, I don't know.
What was the size of the staff working on Project Galileo?
Well, there were 22 people employed there totally.
And that was specifically for the Galileo project?
No, for the entire project. Oh, I see. There were 22 people with Majestic clearance. I had Majestic clearance. Majestic clearance was designated as clearance 38 levels above Q clearance, and Q clearance is the civilian top secret clearance.
When did you see your first disc?
The first disc I saw, I believe it was the second, or I think it was the third time I was up there. Normally the bus pulled around to the opposite end of the facility, which was the main entrance, and that's where we went in. On this particular occasion, it pulled up to one of the hangar doors, which were normally closed, and the last one was open. We came out, and I saw the disc in the hangar. Upon seeing it, it struck me that, well, this explains all the UFO sightings. Not thinking that it was an extraterrestrial craft, that this must have been some advanced form of fighter that we've been working on for years, and, you know, people have just caught it being tested, so on and so forth. And It never even occurred to me, even though I was looking at an extraterrestrial vehicle, that, you know, this wasn't man-made.
When did you realize the craft was not of earthly origin?
Well, it probably really hit me when I got inside the craft and looked around and began to understand how the craft was operated, and finally grasped the whole project as a whole, as what we were doing, the fact that we weren't building this thing, we were trying to find out how it was made. We were back engineering it.
What is back engineering?
Well, back engineering is taking a finished product and finding out how the device or product was produced, and essentially determining whether or not you can duplicate it.
Now, scientists aside, what was your emotional response? What were you thinking were the implications to the world or man in general from these revelations?
I really didn't think about implications of that sort. As far as emotionally, people have asserted that, boy, that must have been the most exciting time in your life, and that's not the way it was. When I first got to look inside the craft, all I can say, it's an ominous feeling. You walk in there and it feels as if you shouldn't be there. I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's a real ominous feeling. It's not an exciting feeling. It brings up a whole lot of questions in your mind. Well, where did this come from? And you know that they won't give you the answers to the whole story, but that's the only way I can describe it. It produces a gravity wave, which is similar to the gravity wave that the Earth produces. However, the craft phase shifts the wave. In other words, it turns the wave not really in an opposite polarity, but something to that effect, where it will work against the natural gravity wave of the Earth, and it produces lift in that effect.
Is there any internal protection for the crew? Does the craft generate a gravitational field inside the craft itself?
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field. Being inside that field essentially doesn't shield you, but essentially you're in, and this is a terrible way to say it, almost in a different realm, because you're now influenced only by that gravitational field. For instance, people wonder how a craft like this can make a turn at such high speed, a 90-degree turn, when they would imagine people slamming up against the wall or something to that effect. Well, that really wouldn't happen. Inertia would have no effect. You're in a distortion, and don't forget that gravity distorts time and space, so really nothing is going to influence you while you're in there.
Describe the gravity amplifiers for us and some of their different operating configurations.
There are 3 amplifiers. The craft can operate on a single one, can lift off the ground. The way in which it's propelled are 2 different ways. There's what they call Omicron configuration, where the craft is using one generator, or Delta configuration, where it's utilizing all 3. Delta configuration would be for space travel. Essentially, the craft will tilt up on its side, as opposed to a science fiction movie where you see a flying saucer moving around. The craft will tilt up on its side, focus the 3 gravity generators to a single point, and move through space that way. Moving around the source of gravity is a problem to a disk because it's interference, essentially. So what they do is they work with that interference to their benefit. They'll use one gravity generator to lift the craft off the ground. And as opposed to what we're used to, for instance, a plane, once it's in the air, we envision thrust or some force coming out the back of it to push it forward. The crafts work completely opposite of that. What they do is once they're hovering in the air, they'll swing the 2 remaining gravity generators up in front of them and create a distortion, essentially a downhill, and the craft rolls downhill for infinity. It's always chasing a little distortion. That's why they look goofy when they fly around at low speeds, because they're essentially, and any time you run over, the gravity field around the Earth is not completely constant and stable, depending on the minerals and density of the Earth underneath it. The gravity will vary somewhat, and you will get odd movements of the craft. So its low-speed mode is kind of unstable for the most part. I only witnessed one test flight up close, officially. That I was just inside the hangar. The test was going up probably, just as the sun was going down. And it was a low-performance test. I believe there were some pilots or test pilots in the craft. The craft must have been retrofitted to fit them, because the seating arrangements were really not accommodating. They were in radio communication with the craft, which is kind of surprising to me, because the gravity waves that the craft was producing should have distorted the radio waves also. So apparently there's something there that I don't understand. The craft lifted off the ground, virtually noiseless, other than a small corona discharge on the bottom of the craft, indicating the presence of high voltage. That dissipated at about 30 feet, and it stood there completely silently, and moved over to the left, to the right, and sat back down. That was the entire test. However, that was an extremely impressive test. Maybe to someone that really knows little about science or anything, that wouldn't be a whole lot, but you have to realize this craft was about 52 feet in diameter. I don't know exactly how much it weighed, but it weighed a lot. And this was quite a scientific feat, to lift something completely silently, under control, and perform a maneuver like that. The craft itself was, I assume it was metal. It was cold to the touch. That's why I say it was metal. But it was a brushed aluminum, actually just an unfinished stainless steel, not shiny, finish to it. Had no seams. It was as if it was injection molded from one giant die. I was completely amazed. I can't really reflect on how it made me feel, but that was exciting.
How would you define gravity? Could you describe in layman's terms its basic principles for us?
Gravity is something difficult to explain, because it's something that we essentially don't understand. It's just something that we can observe. Not much is really known about gravity. There are many theories about it, but they are just mainly theories. There's theories of gravitons, which allege that these are these subatomic particles that act like an attractive force like gravity, that exchange between two pieces of matter. There's also a theory that gravity is a form of wave, an electromagnetic wave. But basically, gravity is a force. It's the attraction. It's the inherent property of matter to have gravity, a mutual attraction for each other, and it's basically all that we really know. Modern science, current science, right now, identifies one gravity. It's one force in nature. Apparently, through research at S4 or information gained from one of the crafts they were researching there, it appears that there are two different forms of gravity. One form works on an atomic scale, on subatomic particles, holding pieces of matter, holding atoms themselves together. Another works on a larger scale, the scale we're most familiar with, holding planets in orbit, holding ourselves to the ground, things of that sort. Because it produces a gravitational field, I wouldn't say the craft is invisible during the day. However, if you're under the craft, because of the way the gravity is being used, gravity bends time and space, and it bends light. If you are looking underneath the craft or from certain vantage points, you will actually see what's above the craft. It's really a trick of the way light bends under the influence of gravity. For instance, we can see stars that are behind the sun, that are blocked from our view by the sun. The reason we can see them is because the sun is a tremendous gravitational field, and it's bending the light around it where we can see the star. Space-time and gravity are all essentially interrelated. They all act on one another. Gravity bends space Gravity also distorts time. When you vary one, you essentially vary the other two. If you, as an example, if you have a massive body, say a planet or something that's making a lot of gravity, producing a lot of gravitational waves, if you will, it distorts space. It bends space to it. It also slows down time. These things aren't theories. We know them to be true. We cannot artificially create this because we can't create gravity. But this is how they're all interrelated.
What are some of the inherent problems with traveling at the speed of light?
There are several problems traveling at the speed of light. Just a couple of them are the fact that as your speed increases, so does your mass proportionally. In other words, the more energy you put in to go faster begins to slow you down by the fact that it's converted into mass. You have other problems like just traveling at such an extreme velocity, navigational problems, the fact that you might run into little tiny micrometeorites at speeds like this. They would undoubtedly destroy your craft. There's just a whole host of problems that you're going to run into just attempting to do something like that. Aside from the fact the amount of energy required to accelerate to the speed of light is horrendous.
Could you briefly describe Project Looking Glass and Project Sidekick for us?
Project Sidekick was another project going on with Galileo. Galileo was the project that I was involved in. Sidekick dealt with any of the weapon potential of the craft, whether or not the craft had a weapon in it or could it be used as a weapon, but it had something to do with some sort of particle beam configuration where the gravity generator can be used as a lens to focus a weapon of some sort, similar to the SDI device we were working on in the 80s, but with the potential of a focusing device using the gravity generator.
And Project Looking Glass?
Project Looking Glass dealt with the distortion, the fact that there's a time distortion, essentially looking back in time, and by that I do not mean looking back years ago to see the wagon train days. They're looking for distortions that are milliseconds in time, and what that was used for, I don't know, but that was just observing the time, the time distortion, time dilation phenomena of the craft in operation.
What is element 115? Is it found here on Earth, or is it strictly an extraterrestrial material?
115 is strictly an extraterrestrial material. It probably occurs naturally in some other places, maybe other star systems. Some people not familiar with science or chemistry say, well, that's ridiculous. All the elements occur on Earth, you know. But that's not true. There are elements on the periodic chart that aren't found on Earth. I believe the Heavy Ion Research Lab in Darmstadt, Germany, has reached element 112 recently. So 115 isn't that far away. And when they synthesize it, it's not like they're making a couple ounces of it. They're talking about 1 or 2 atoms of it. To make any usable quantity of a heavy element like that is virtually impossible. Element 115 is in the top of the reactor. And the base of the reactor apparently is a small, something similar to a cyclotron. It's a particle accelerator. A particle is accelerated to high speed and then deflected up a small tube, and it's aimed at the 115. This transmutes the 115, similar to the way we do that in a normal particle accelerator. This causes a reaction, a radiation emission that we really haven't seen before. It produces antimatter. This antimatter is guided down a tuned tube and reacts with a gas. When matter and antimatter react, they convert to 100% energy. This energy is converted, heat energy, is converted to electrical power in the reactor itself. This is done through a thermoelectric converter. And this electrical power is used to power other subsystems on the craft, though there is no wiring, you know, as we would know it. Also, that's almost a byproduct of the reactor. The reactor also sets up a gravitational wave from the 115 being bombarded. This gravitational wave was present at the top of the reactor and is essentially guided in the same way microwaves are guided, through tuned tubes. And this goes to their amplifying cavities and through the projectors that are in the bottom of the craft.
With the gravity generators running, is there thermal radiation danger to the crew?
There is no thermal radiation while the reactor is running. The thermionic generator is 100% efficient, which is in violation of the first law of thermodynamics. But in fact, it works. Element 115 is stable. And for those familiar with chemistry, we know that elements with higher atomic numbers have shorter and shorter half-lives. However, when you reach a certain point, they call it the island of stability. There is a place, and we've theorized this for a long time, somewhere around 114 to 116, there should be an area in there where the nucleus of the atom is geometrically stable with protons and neutrons, where it no longer decays. It's not radioactive. 115 is, in fact, this element. In fact, it does occur again somewhere around element 247. Of course, we're nowhere near synthesizing that. We can only, predict things like that. But that's where 115 is.
Did they, the aliens, give us element 115 in large quantities?
Whether or not it was given to us, I can't answer that question. However, I was told that we have 500 pounds by one of my co-workers. How it was obtained and where exactly it came from, I don't know. Whether it came in one of the crafts or it was separate cargo somewhere, anyone can speculate. But I was told that was the figure.
You were able to get away with a sample of element 115. How much did you get away with?
No comment.
Nighttime test flights, unofficially, while off the base. What did you see?
The test flights I saw off the base, actually the best test flight was witnessed by my friends who I had brought out there. At the exact moment the craft was hopping around and doing some really impressive maneuvers, I had turned around and I think was looking for the video camera or something to that effect. But I missed some of the most impressive maneuvers. But the craft was similar to what was done before that I had seen close up, other than the fact that it went above the mountain range, moved a much greater distance at a much higher rate of speed.
How were you able to find out about the test flight schedules?
The test flight schedules were told to me, specifically because I was probably going to have to be present during those times. And at that time, the test flights were taking place on Wednesday nights. And from what they said, that was because that was statistically the least amount of traffic in the area. And that's all that they were concerned about.
Does the propulsion system release any sort of discharge or exhaust?
There was a high voltage discharge on the bottom of the craft, but as far as there being an exhaust, there was none.
Why did they appear as glowing balls of light in the night sky?
Well, that's kind of the same reason why a neon light or a fluorescent light lights up. What you're dealing with is a high energy source in essentially a gas atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen. And when you apply enough energy to a gas molecule, they emit photons, they emit light. And I don't think it's anything, it's really a byproduct of how the craft operates. When it's emitting that much energy, the gas surrounding the craft emits light. The same reason why lightning is visible. You have a huge electrical discharge, and the gas emits light in the form of lightning bolt. If you were going to see one of these crafts at night operating, it would appear really as a glowing ball or just a bright light in the sky from a distance. Even close up, you'd see a glowing halo around it. This is typically what you'd see in your normal UFO sighting, if you've heard them a lot. However, keep in mind that lights in the sky are caused by much more common things than flying saucers.
Tell us a little more about the aurora you witnessed taking off out of Area 51.
It was a large craft, and the one glimpse I got of it was from the rear, and it had two huge square exhausts with vanes in them. And it was just, it sounded more like a rocket than a jet. I don't know I even think he did mention that it was liquid methane powered, but there again, you know, working on the DIS technology, I really could care less what was rolling around at Area 51, but it did catch my eye.
As a result of going public, have there been any attempts made on your life?
One day when I was getting on Interstate 15, driving down Charleston Boulevard, a car came up alongside of me, and I thought he was just trying to race me to get on the freeway. This was after I had left the project. It was a white, boxy-looking car. Exactly what make and model, I don't know. But I accelerated to get on the freeway to go fast, and there was a gunshot, and the back of the car was hit, and I skidded off into the median. And I stopped, and I was frightened, and I just stood there because I thought the guy was going to be alongside of me and just shoot me. I had nothing to do. I was essentially paralyzed with fear, and I waited there, and then nothing else happened. And do I know it was a government agent trying to kill me? No. Could it have been a drive-by shooting? Maybe. You know, so it was an attempt on my life, but by who specifically, I don't know. Though I was threatened before I had left. They threatened my wife's life and my life, so I can only put two and two together and say that they were kind of pissed at me.
In an earlier interview, you had mentioned that they had put a gun to your head. Tell us about that.
That was after we were caught out when I had the test flight schedule, and I brought some friends out to show them the DIS test. We got caught out there, and the following day I was debriefed down at Indian Springs Air Force Base. And I was in the room with the security guards that caught us, my supervisor and some other people, and some other security personnel. Yeah, they were essentially grilling me about security and, you know, how could I possibly bring people out there. And I guess I wasn't as responsive as they would like, and they got in my face, and one of them pulled the sidearm out, you know, just pushed it against me.
Have you maintained any contacts with your colleagues out at S4?
No, I never heard from anyone other than for a very brief time after I left. Dennis, who was my supervisor, did try and make contact with me at the meeting place was the Union Plaza Hotel, and I took a friend of mine, Gene Huff, down there, and another friend, a former colleague and scientist from Los Alamos, and we saw him, but I also did recognize some security personnel walking around there from S4, so whether or not it was a setup or what was going on or he was trying to talk to me, we never found out, and we left. It just was a real strange situation. I never heard from him since.
As we enter the 21st century, how has your experience changed your beliefs?
Well, if you want to word the question, how are my opinions changed? I would say considerably. Before I was at S4, I was more or less one of the guys that thought, you know, all these government conspiracy and UFO buffs and things like that were complete lunatics. I even remember before I was involved there, a friend showed me a little newspaper clipping and said John Lear was giving a lecture who was touting that aliens from another world came to Earth and there's 70 different species. And I remember laughing on the phone that this guy had lost his mind. And I was also under the impression that, you know, boy, the government's all for the people, and they, you know, they're out here to protect us and all that. You know, after the experiences I had there, everything is completely turned around. You know, the government is doing everything but looking out for us. I mean, the only thing they're looking out is for themselves. You know, obviously the ET craft do exist. Something had to build them, so there must be aliens. And since there are, and the craft are there must be some sort of factory and an entire civilization somewhere. And if in fact that is true, and it apparently is, then there must be others. Actual crafts and technology from another world. And That's probably the most important thing. He kind of moved from science fiction into reality in my mind. And it really just, I guess, opened my eyes. We can duplicate it. If we can understand what a device is or how something operates or what its physical makeup is, that's great. But if we can't duplicate it, it's useless to us. So there's really two phases to the project going on there. It's understanding what we're looking at, and then once we understand it, is can we duplicate it with earthly materials and earthly technology? And, you know, unless we've got a handle on both of them, all that technology is useless to us. And if it turns out we can't do that, all we have is one single prized possession that we have to take care of, and that's it.
After all that's been said and done, would you do this over again? What would you do differently?
I would probably have played along for a longer time. I would like to have known a little bit more about the technology and probably kept quiet if I could have. And possibly never have said anything. I almost wish I had done that. You know, it's it's really only caused headaches and problems. But I believe if I was given the opportunity again to go back in time and redo it, I think I pretty much would have just shut up and gone along with the program. I would have much preferred that instead of the Navy or whoever it was, that hand-picked a few renegade scientists here and there, that they turn it over to some more qualified people. Obviously, I was not the most qualified person on propulsion or field propulsion or anything of that sort. I was just some guy. I mean, they could have picked, I could have named 10 or 12 other guys that were more qualified than me. But, you know, if they turned it over to the scientific community and not just a couple guys here in the United States, I mean, you need a large group of people in a large lab to research what's going on there, not a little quiet installation. It's the security itself that prevents them from getting anywhere. I mean, they never do work hand in hand. You can't have a military mind. Science itself must communicate. You have to have a free exchange of ideas. That's how things progress. And when you clamp down on a security system like that, where you work in isolated groups and ideas cannot be exchanged, you don't get anywhere, and that's the problem they have.
What does the future hold for Bob Lazar?
Well, I'm not really involved in any of that stuff anymore. That's kind of put behind me. I have my own businesses that I work at, some computer graphics, some consultation, other technical jobs, radiation detectors, and a few other things like that. So really, I just go about my life, and that's, you know, something that happened that was fantastic, and it's over, but it's kind of hard to shake it loose. But eventually I will, and that'll be that. I think all the surveillance and everything stopped. I don't think anyone's bothering to monitor me. I've said everything that I know. It's been all over the place, so it's kind of a done deal. As far as whether or not there are any craft out there, I believe, you know, they were out and gone in probably the late '89, early '90, and the only thing people see now out there are, you know, flares or planes coming into land, but that's about it.
Did you have an interest in flying saucers or science fiction in general as a child?
I was never interested in flying saucers as a child. Science fiction, you know, I watched Star Trek, I guess, with everyone else back then, but for the most part, yeah, I didn't even believe in flying saucers up until I was employed at S4.
I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children, wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. Thank you all. God bless you all.
A once secret air base in the Nevada desert is marking an unofficial anniversary today.
Area 51 was one of the most secretive places on the planet, but that anonymity vanished forever because of what happened 25 years ago. A controversial electronics whiz told a fantastic tale during a TV interview, and the story still reverberates today.
The I-Team's George Knapp played a part in what became an international sensation. He's here with an update.
Setting the stage, Dave, you might not know this, but 25 years ago, a young anchorwoman named Paula Francis and I were prepping for the 5 o'clock news when we learned that our scheduled live interview had canceled. We placed a call to aviator John Lear to ask if he could get a friend of his to fill the spot, a guy who reportedly worked out near Area 51 and had seen flying saucers out there. It sounded outrageous at the time, but that interview with Bob Lazar turned Area 51 upside down. We coaxed a reluctant Lazar into returning to Las Vegas to talk about it.
I don't know. Sometimes I really do regret it, and I almost feel like apologizing to him, saying that, you know, I'm sorry I let things out. Can I have my job back?
25 years after he was forever transformed into Bob the UFO guy, Bob Lazar says he regrets ever talking about flying saucers or a secret base in the Nevada desert or any of the things that made his name known all over the world.
There isn't a day I don't get emails, and you know, I try and get this across to him. Look, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. You know, well, I don't believe the story. Great, pass it around. You know, I really don't want you to, because it makes life difficult for me.
A quarter century ago, not many people outside of Nevada had ever heard of Area 51, the mysterious base 100 miles north of Las Vegas, a place the government said didn't exist. It was the location of choice for all manner of black projects, spy planes that were kept secret from the public.
And that's my driveway, that's Bob, that's Gene Huff, and Bob's wife Tracy and Chris, and we're just waiting there for 5 o'clock to roll around.
Former CIA pilot John Lear remembers the day that Area 51 became a household name. This is home video he shot as a KLAS news truck prepared to broadcast a live interview from Lear's home. Lazar was understandably nervous.
Yeah, he was nervous because he was putting it all out on the line there, and here he was going to, you know, reveal all this secret that he'd signed, you know, that he was going to never tell anybody.
It's not only a crime against the American people.
In the interview, Lazar's face was hidden, and he used a pseudonym, Dennis, which was the first name of his boss out in the desert.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers.
Lazar claimed he worked intermittently at a location called S4 south of Groom Lake, the main facility of Area 51. He said the hangars had been built into the side of a mountain disguised as desert, and inside were a set of 9 flying saucers. Months later, he revealed his identity to the world and said the technology he'd worked on was from somewhere else, that it was being taken apart to figure out how it worked.
The reason that they're round and have no sharp edges is to contain the high voltage.
When you get yourself in position...
The information exploded like a bomb, and in the quarter century since then, the world has beaten a path to Area 51's door. Every major news organization in the world has written stories. The base has inspired documentaries and TV dramas. Dozens of books have been written, fiction and nonfiction, hundreds of news articles, many of them critical of Lazar and skeptical about his background. His tale launched 1,000 product lines, every trinket you can imagine, along with assorted businesses, a AAA baseball team, and the world's only extraterrestrial highway running right past the entrance to Groom Lake. President Obama recently made a point of publicly acknowledging Area 51.
What's really going on at Area 51?
And former President Bill Clinton told Jimmy Kimmel he'd looked into those stories about space aliens.
So first I had people go look at the records on Area 51 to make sure there was no alien down there.
Even the Kardashians have made a trek out into the desert.
That's a security guard.
Look how that story moved throughout the internet so quickly, and not just the internet, but news in itself. Like, was in the first 48 hours after the broadcast, it was in Japan.
Back in Las Vegas for a visit, Lazar recalls why he came forward in the first place. He had traveled to the S4 base only a handful of times, but began to get scared.
I began to get worried in that, boy, they've given me all this classified information. They're not calling me anymore. They won't take my phone calls. And in the meantime, apparently they're deciding what to do with me.
Look how bright it's getting. Look at it now.
For a variety of personal reasons, Lazar couldn't keep the story to himself. He shared his tale with John Lear and Gene Huff. They and a few others made treks out to the outskirts of S4 because Lazar said he'd learned when the test flights of the saucer would take place. 3 weeks in a row, a glowing object appeared over the mountains.
Look how bright it's getting. Look at it now.
And just a few minutes ago, we saw one of the government extraterrestrial UFOs.
The time when Bob said there would be a test, there was a strange light jumping around in the sky above the location where he said it would be at the time and date he said it would be.
You know, here, the craft took off when I said it was taking off from past the mountain range, which was Papoose Lake, S4, south of Area 51, in a restricted area. So it's not like anyone was out there with a model plane or anything. And, flew around, did incredible maneuvers that impressed everybody to the point where we got scared and got behind a car, fearing the thing was going to explode. But really, how do you explain this?
It's bright right now.
Lazar has more than his share of critics, including the poobahs of the UFO community who think he made it up. And he has holes in his background that have yet to be filled. But to date, no one has yet been able to explain how he knew those test flights would take place out there. Tonight at 11, we tag along as Lazar takes a tour of the Area 51 Museum exhibit that his story inspired. And over the next few days, we'll be adding material to our website, including the original series that we broadcast and some extended excerpts from this most recent interview. You remember that day?
Has he ever backed off those original claims?
No.
Really
Tells the same story right now.
There you go.
I saw a clip of our interview in Amsterdam in 1997.
Never
That
dies.
was a shock. Great job then and great job now, George.
Thanks, George.
At 11, with Paula Francis and Dave Carvassier. The news of Southern Nevada is now.
It's been 25 years to the day since a live interview with a shadowy guy named Dennis changed everything for America's most secret military base. Dennis turned out to be a Las Vegan named Bob Lazar, who claimed to work at a secret facility built into a mountainside just south of Area 51. The story started a UFO stampede that continues to this day. Lazar has tried to put the flying saucer stories behind him and has been discredited in the eyes of some critics, but it is a story that simply won't go away.
We coaxed Lazar into talking about the last quarter century of UFO craziness. The I-Team's George Knapp has the story.
What better way to unwind after a long day than a glass of Groom Lake red wine from the Ailey Inn? Maybe spend a few minutes staring at the paintings you picked up at the Area 51 art show, while perhaps listening to the Bob Lazar music video. The story that Bob Lazar told 25 years ago this week has gone around the world many times over, inspiring books and TV shows and movies. Who knew that Indiana Jones' warehouse is at Area 51?
That sound you hear means Agent Black will be waiting for you.
You're too nice.
Another repository of Area 51 lore is the exhibit at the Atomic Testing Museum. While in town recently for our interview, Lazar took the tour.
I guess I have to get a picture of that, too.
It was a little surreal watching Bob Lazar as he saw tape of the first interviews he ever gave about his time working at S4. Later, as we plowed through boxes of paperwork about his claims, Lazar reiterated his preference that people don't believe his story.
Look, I am not out there giving UFO lectures, producing tapes. This is not a business of mine. I am trying to run a scientific business. And if I'm the UFO guy, it makes it really difficult. It's to my benefit that people don't believe the story.
These days, Lazar and his wife operate a scientific supply firm in Michigan. He's received media coverage because of the odd stuff he sells online, but not everyone has made the connection to Area 51 and the stampede he started back in 1989 when he told of working at S4 south of Area 51, where he saw flying saucers so advanced they had to be from somewhere else. This is a model of the reactor he says was able to generate its own gravitational field, powered by what he called Element 115.
Barry turned on the reactor, which was a flat plate and half of a basketball essentially on it, just a hemisphere. And once it was activated, you could not touch the sphere. You put your hand on it, and just like the like poles of a magnet, exact same type of force. He had a little golf ball, and we dropped it on it, and it never hit the sphere and fell off, and then we threw it at it and it rebounded and knocked the ceiling tile out of place. But it was that alone is something amazing. Look, that can change everything we know today.
The story exploded among UFO researchers and just as quickly led to questions and denouncements. The I-Team confirmed Lazar had previously worked at Los Alamos National Lab, but we also reported his claimed education credentials could not be proven. UFO experts, including physicist Stan Friedman, also dug into his background.
I say, here's a bright guy. I did a lot of checking on him. I find a lot of things didn't check out. That doesn't mean I disagree with everything he ever said, or that he was a liar all the time. It means that I can't buy the story as presented. What all he did out there, I don't know.
Lazar says there's no end to the questions, and even if he could prove he worked at S4, someone would say he must have been the janitor. So he generally avoids the topic altogether.
Oh, you want some of the fame. What, the fame? There's no big dump truck dropping money off at my house every Thursday night. I'm not out for any fame. I really have better things to do. Generally, people have to twist my arm to come out and do things like that. As you know, you're the arm twister.
Those who were around him at the time the story broke or took the trips into the desert to see the craft fly above S4 say you really had to be there.
Did you see that move it did?
There's a MUFON moron that calls me every once in a while, and he says, well, you don't still believe that guy, do you? And I say, I lived it. The whole 2 years, it was fantastic. It was one of the greatest times of my life.
He wouldn't go through the trouble to make up a story to lie to people and then perpetuate that lie. Bob has no idea who won the Super Bowl and the World Series last year, do you? I mean, he's busy doing scientific stuff and in the Bob Lazar world. He wouldn't waste his time perpetrating a lie on anyone.
Look, I know what happened is true. There's no doubt, period.
Lazar was known to have unconventional interests and a spotty financial record, so why would a top-secret program let him in? One theory is that maybe someone predicted he would spill the beans and was chosen because they wanted the UFO story to be planted. Lazar told us he can't rule that out entirely. We're putting together a special Area 51 section on our website, and we'll be adding material to it over the next few days, including extended excerpts with the most recent interview. And by the way, the Area 51 exhibit is having a grand reopening this Saturday.
That alone is something amazing. Look, that can change everything we know today. Just having a machine to produce artificial gravity. Because look at what that does. We know gravity, space, and time are all tied together. There are your shields, like on Star Trek, that deflect micrometeorites. There is your protection from radiation without heavy shielding. There is something that, with an intense enough focused field, you can actually bend space, and there is something that can actually alter the flow of time. I mean, that's the missing piece of pie.
Didn't they actually freeze
a candle?
A flame for
yeah,
you?
now that's when it was connected to the gravity amplifiers where they could focus it, and
They froze a candle?
Yeah, they had a candle lit to set it up for you. Again, there's a large, in the craft itself, there are 3 long pipes. I'd say, well, I don't know, about, what's that, 3-4 feet in diameter, maybe 5 feet long. Anyway, they dangle, the 3 of them, at the bottom of the craft. These produce gravitational waves, and they can focus them to a point or spread them apart.
Those are what you call the wave guides?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They're part of the power source control mechanism and the wave. Well, the waveguide is what I actually call the interlink between them, but that's the gravitational engine. They had one of those devices out along with the subsystem that connects it, so they can produce the power from the reactor. It runs the gravity amplifier, and they can focus and change the gravity beam that comes out of it. They took, speaking of Barry, took a candle, put it close to the mouth of it, lit it, a normal flickering candle flame, and then activated the reactor. The gravity wave came out as expected, and the candle flame remained luminous and stopped moving. And
Which defies physics.
yeah, because
The
look, if it's going to
photons-
freeze it, the photons should stop being emitted. If it's going to, change the characteristics. Look, how can the combustion continue to take place without the convection inside the flame? Because actually, the reason a flame is elongated is not really because of the heat. It's because of gravity. Because gravity pulls down, and convection moves flames upward. It's why in a zero gravity environment, flame is a ball. Obviously, there's nothing to pull things around. But anyway, if you negate the gravity around it, why is it still pointy? How can it still be making light? And why doesn't it move? Well, I mean, from what Barry said, it's not just gravity, but it's also time locked. You've distorted
froze a frame of time.
Yeah, they essentially froze a piece of time there. And what do you say? I mean, it's empirical evidence. You're looking at it. It's not
you could see it.
It doesn't make sense that you could see it. And look, the stuff I saw there was the most unbelievable, literally, because it defied what we knew as physics. And at least I thought it did. And maybe what we knew was a little incorrect and just needed viewing from a different angle. They finally did synthesize element 115 that had the properties that I stated. But
it wasn't stable.
Yeah, it wasn't stable. Now, each element has isotopes. For instance, let's talk about hydrogen. We're all familiar with hydrogen. Hydrogen has 3 isotopes. They're all hydrogen. There's hydrogen, protium, be the technical name, deuterium, and tritium. Well, tritium is a radioactive hydrogen. Deuterium is another stable isotope of hydrogen, and regular protium, ordinary hydrogen, is the hydrogen we all know. They're all hydrogen. They have different amounts of neutrons in them. They all have 1 proton, which makes them hydrogen. Now, this is true for all elements. You can have the amount of protons in them determines what element it is. So element 115 has 115 protons in it. It's element 115. Now, depending on the number of neutrons it has, it will still be element 115, but it can be any number of isotopes of it. 115 undoubtedly has, many isotopes of it. We've synthesized 115. We made 1 isotope. We have a radioactive one. Now they just need to continue on working with it. I mean, they made just a few atoms, but we'll see what other isotopes they come up with. One of them or more is going to be stable, and it will have the exact properties that I said.
Or could we make it? Or does it have to be natural? As you speculated about that
Well,
before.
it's natural. It'd be difficult to find it. I do not think you can make that synthetically. It's just, it takes too much time. I mean, to make, an ounce of it or even a gram would take a tremendous amount of time, because not all the interactions are successful. I mean, you can bang particles together all day long and one may get stuck, and then you've got an atom, and how do you contain, this single atom?
So how do we get 500 pounds of it? Where'd that come from?
Well, it had to either be synthesized by the extraterrestrials that bought it in the first place, or, maybe there was a location where they came from where, look, this was a naturally occurring material. We know that all the material in the universe, essentially all the atoms of all elements, came from hydrogen. I mean, all you really need is just atoms of hydrogen to make anything. Once they start collecting together large quantities of them, gravity just begins to push them together under their own weight. As long as you have enough hydrogen, that'll continue until they finally crush down and ignite and produce a fusion reaction. And that starts a star. Once the star is burning, it begins to produce helium by fusing. So now you have another new element. Well, this continues on until the star burns out, begins to collapse, and when large enough stars finally do, they crush down, produce supernovas, and then produce a whole host of every element on the periodic chart, far beyond what the numbers we're used to, beyond 115. And maybe some of these, that's where all the gold, all the uranium, every element you have ever come from, including every cell in your body, has come from supernovas. That's the factory that makes elements. So if there was a location somewhere else that had bigger stars, multiple stars, that burped out more heavy elements than our local system did, maybe this is common, and you can find stable 115 like we mine for gold on on our planets or uranium. It just depends. If they were lucky enough to have exotic materials like that, I find that easier to believe than somebody built a machine to manufacture such a difficult material.
So it's sort of like a Rorschach test. Aha, they made 115. He was right. It really does exist. Somebody who doesn't want to believe it says 115 doesn't behave anything like Bob Lazar said. It's sitting around in a pile of 500 pounds or something, right? I mean, it's sort of like that.
What is the...
Right. You have to, you just have to start accumulating, whether you believe it or not, and I personally, again, I prefer you don't believe it. Just begin accumulating the facts that you can, you can verify, and really be careful.
But that drives them crazy. I mean,
That's
you need
fine.
to answer this. Now, I need an answer. How many times do you get that in a week still after all this time?
I get. There isn't a day I don't get emails, and I try and get this across to them. Look, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Well, I don't believe the story. Great, pass it around. I really don't want you to, because it makes life difficult for me. I'm trying to do serious research. I've got contract with governments and other companies for R&D work, and aside from other scientific interests, and I want this divorced. Look, if I went and did everything I can to prove my story, and reached a tipping point for where people like Stanton Friedman and people along those lines said, you know what, this is beginning to look factual. Do you know how that would annihilate me? That would destroy my business. It would make it impossible for me to operate. And, I'd have a continuous flow of questions, annoying people, I'm sure offers to do things that I am not the least bit interested in.
Which is how it was for years.
Yeah.
It was for years, right?
Look, I could have jumped on all that stuff. I could have, at Area 51 sports drinks, and I could have been giving, look how many lectures. At one point I had, what's that talk show host that, what's the guy's name?
Which one?
Geraldo,
Suspenders.
Montel.
Old guy, suspenders.
Larry King.
Larry King. Yeah, I had an open invitation at one time for that show to come on. As the, Geraldo, everybody, I turned down everything.
Montel Williams.
I blew off movie scripts. I blew off all kinds of stuff because they couldn't stick to facts.
Is there a part of you, though, that there's got to be part of you somewhere in there, even though it would be counterproductive, there's got to be part of you that wishes, God damn it, I know what happened, it's true.
No, look, I know what happened is true. There's no doubt, period. There's no delusion, and there are some things I can say that will bolster the case, and I'm not going to. It's going to stay that way. I do regret, at this point, bringing anything forward. Look, at the time, I'm in my early 20s. I went, you know what? This is a crime against the American people. This is just BS, and everybody deserves to know what's going on. And 25 years goes by, you get a little older, and your priorities change. And, what they told me is, this is a security matter, and really, what's the public going to do without this? You know how reactionary they are? there's a bunch of different reasons this is being kept quiet. Nothing that they bother telling me, but the bottom line is they're right. The bulk of the people are complete morons. And I'm sorry, maybe they are right. And this really should just be information that's handled out on a need-to-know basis to some people where it would benefit.
This is the plane which the world believes is state-of-the-art technology. But it's not. Somewhere in secret, its replacement may already be flying, leaving unexplained traces in the night sky.
You get a light up there in the sky, and light could be caused by a lot of different things, and you have 10 different observers all looking at that light. Each of those 10 observers is going to see something else. Someone will see God, someone will see Jesus, someone will see a UFO, others will see conspiracies.
Amid this uncertainty, people are left to speculate and wonder.
We're being visited by extraterrestrial beings. We're possibly confronting beings from maybe another dimension, perhaps our own future. We really don't know, and that's the beauty of it.
We're dealing with technologies that are 50 years beyond what you can comprehend. Not what you can think or what we're doing today, but what you can just visualize in your mind. 50 years beyond that, and they're working on it.
This is the story of a journey along the frontier between what is real and what is imagined. At its heart is the secret defense establishment of the richest nation on Earth. I'm Nick Cook. I'm the aviation editor of Jane's Defence Weekly, a trade publication that reports on the inner workings of the defence business. Over recent years, it's been impossible for me to ignore this kind of barrage of publicity we've been hearing about unidentified flying objects or UFOs. So I've decided to embark on a journey to see if I can get to the core of what may or may not be going on. Now, the only real clue I have, given that most of the reports of UFOs, or at least a lot of them, come from America, is this document here, which is the annually published list of defense spending put out by the Pentagon. Inside this document is every single conceivable item of military equipment that America is likely to buy for its armed forces. But if you add up all the line items inside this budget book and you subtract their total from the annual published total of $250 billion that the Pentagon reports to Congress, you find that there's a mismatch of about $30 billion. Now, this is what we call the black budget, or America's billion-dollar secret, which is reserved for deeply classified programs. Now, I'm wondering whether inside this classified pot of money there may be some relationship between, say, deeply classified aircraft, which is something I know about, and what people commonly report as unidentified flying objects. So over the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to be crisscrossing America, talking to people, visiting facilities, to see whether I can find the truth. two worlds of defense, a white world you can see and a black world you can't.
Gentlemen, before you get too far away, how about a big round of applause for Thunderbird number 8, one of the best narrators.
Aerospace exhibitions are part of the white world, but behind them lies a realm of secrecy and super technology, way beyond anything they put on show.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
Fine. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Where is it again? Hi. Hello.
The white world is an interesting enough place, but it's the hidden part, the black world, that interests me. At its center, away from all this glitz and show, is a mysterious airbase called Area 51, a place that has become a mecca for UFO watchers and serious defense analysts alike. Area 51 would be my ultimate destination, but getting there would turn out to be a journey as much through the mind as on the road. Well, I've reached Fort Worth. The reason I'm here is because a while back I was interviewing a guy called Bob Widmer. Now it transpires that 40 odd years ago, Bob Widmer, as the head of design at what was then General Dynamics Convair, was working on a program, very, very secret program called FISH, sometimes known as Kingfish. And this was a requirement that the CIA needed for a very fast-flying spy plane. And he competed against a different company at the time. Now, the staggering point to me in this story is that Bob Widmer's design lost the competition for this CIA spy plane. But today, that is some 45 years on from when he was designing it, it's still classified.
We had a program called the Super Hustler. The CIA came here and visited me one day. And they said, wasn't there something I could do with this technology? So we tried to come up with an airplane that was as near as possible to a saucer.
And did you?
And we did.
Where is it?
We shaped it. Well, we shaped this, that's this fish.
That's the fish. The
Sure.
fish looked like a saucer.
Well, not completely. I told you, we used the saucer as a start. So the front, you see,
looks.
And then we took the back and we had to take it and a piece of it, but it really wasn't. It was as close as we could get. It was always the ideal that we used. We can't do any better than we can with a treated saucer. That was sort of the goal that we used.
This is the plane that won the competition, the Lockheed-built Blackbird. For years, its performance, even at times its existence, was kept totally secret. But bit by bit, the data began to leak out, that it was the fastest, highest flying plane ever built, used for top secret reconnaissance missions all over the world. It's a classic example of a black program gradually turning white.